Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. So we got the little Ranger wrapped up. Got it finished up finally. I figured I might as well just get it done before I start on my next project and go from there. So it didn't turn out too bad. I'm going to show you a little bit of final assembly on it. A few things we finished up beforehand. And then we'll take you over to the bench and do kind of just a quick reveal on it and kind of go from there. So let's take you bench side and let's finish this bad boy up and we'll show it to you in the end here. Back on our little 93 Ranger Splash. So we got it out of the paint booth. We have it all cleaned up. I didn't have to do nothing with this. It was pretty clean. I actually did run just some polish over it just to kind of smooth it down. I mean, it was pretty smooth, but yeah. Now this here, I did wet sand this. I had a spot in the front and there was a little spot right here. So I did wet sand this down with 5000 and I used my McGuire's ultimate polish. And then I just kind of give the rest of it just a little bit of a buff just to kind of match the shine, so it looks pretty good. So this is ready to paint. I'm going to paint the black around the windows and black all around here, get that done. So I'm working on the headlights, so I kind of got a head start on these because yeah, I don't know why I thought my camera was on and I looked and long behold, it was off. So good times there, but that's okay. I'll kind of catch you up to speed what we're doing. So the grill was painted white. Obviously, the whole thing's just painted white. So I did is I took this here. I took the Molotow marker and painted that. I just went back and forth and just let it lather up. And I see this here must be dirt in the paint. I don't know if that's going to show up on the light side once I put it in. I'm not really sure. So that's where I'm at with that. So that's going to have to dry obviously overnight. So I don't want it to put the lens or nothing in there. Just because we all know Molotow takes forever to cure. So what I'm doing is I'm working on the headlights. So the headlights, they don't give you much of a depth. There's no like bucket or anything like that. So you're kind of limited to what you can do. So I hope they kind of look okay. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the Tamiya, this is the LP53, just the clear orange, and I'm putting that just on the lens side, and I'm doing on the inside. So what I'm doing is I'm giving it multiple light coats. So I found in this, really want it to really look good, you know, to look good, just give it light multiple coats, kind of get the desired orange I want. So I'm not putting it on oh my gosh heavy, not to know I mean business, but I want it to look, you know, like it's equal or level. Because the nice thing about this, the heavier you go with it, the more orange you're going to get. So you give it just a couple light passes, you're just going to get that orange, just that light tinge color to it. So being this is a curved lens, I don't want to go too much on it because I don't want it to pool in the center there. And I don't want to make it too thick where it's not going to sit in very well, because this may take a little bit to glue. So I think I'll leave it at that. So we'll see how that goes. I just hope I can get it to cure okay. And we'll prop it up a little bit just to help it, so it doesn't pool as bad. So I can tell right now that's just the one coat. That's not nearly dark enough. I'd like to get it more of that rich orange color, but I think I'd have to give it a lot of multiple coats. And like I say, I don't want to make it that thick because this stuff's kind of thick. You know, it kind of reminds me of like Jello, like a gelatin type base, because it's got a weird texture to it once it's completely dry. You know, if you flake out the little chips of it. So we'll give this one more coat and we'll call it good. And I don't want to wrap it along the side because we're going to take a Sharpie all said and done. We're going to give it a little edge. And the other thing too, giving it that little base coat first, it'll give this second part something to stick to a little better. And this stuff does dry pretty quick. If you guys, I'm sure most of you guys use this. Biggest thing is just keep it uniform. So I'm probably gonna let that set and we will get back on it. So once it's dry, I'm gonna take the Sharpie and I'm gonna go around the edge. That'll give it a nice, like there's a seal on it. A lot of these lights had like a rubber ring around the outside of them, or a plastic ring. Just kind of seal it in. So seal the deal. So we'll see how that goes once that dries. Okay, so I went ahead and did the marker around here. that turns out pretty cool. You can see that or not. And I'll show you how I did it on the other one. So that should look pretty good. So when you're doing the yellow, or the Tamiya orange, you want to leave it transparent so you can see a little behind there. So we're going to go up against this chrome here. So see how the difference, how that's going to make that really stand out. Obviously I can't put that on there because that molotow is probably still wet. So that should look pretty good on there all said. Orange dries pretty quick. So that's pretty much already set and dry. So when I put this on here, I don't go all the way to the edge. I try to keep the Tamiya off the edge of the plastic. So I use 2 different size Sharpies. So we have your standard, they call it just a fine point, and then I have an ultra fine point. So this one here is more crucial for the small stuff. A chisel point would work probably is good, probably maybe even better. I don't know if you can see. Let me get some kind of pointing device. This side of that is flat. So you want to color that in and keep it equal. Keep it even. Because if you start getting heavy on one side or you go over, you're really going to see it. So you want to try to keep, I just use the side of this or the point, just kind of the edge. And I'll just start and just go back and forth with it. So you can see where it's just a nice, so when you look at it, you really don't see it, but you'll see the edge of it. And the nice thing about this clear shade, now the bottom looks like I already did it because it's transferred through, even though it's not. So now we'll do the side where the marker is. And sometimes I found it takes a couple applications for it to kind of really stick in there. It's just amazing how that makes that look. Get the side and a little on the bottom, just like that. So you give it that nice little, like it's got a gasket around there. Nice and clean looking. And now we'll put the other piece in, so that's where the little guy comes in. So when you're doing this, you got to watch too, because that marker takes a few minutes to dry. So it's not like, okay, put it on and it's handle time. I'll actually let this sit. So as you can see, this is a real fine point. So there's a little notch in here, and not every light has this. So it depends on what model kit you have. You can tell this is, there's a spot right there, a line. So this marker is going to fit in there pretty nice for me. We're just going to run it back and forth till it seats itself in there. And once you get it kind of going, even it out, and there you have it. A really cool looking light. Okay, we're going to set that down, let that dry for a while. The window, I'm going to tint this. So tinting it, I'm going to use the Tamiya Smoke, and we're just going to paint the back half only. So what I want to do is I want to mask this off up front. I want to mask the front windshield off. I want to mask everything off that I don't want painted, even though I know I can just hit this real nice with the airbrush, but you'll be surprised that mist and vapor will come around and it will hinder this glass. And this is like super thin. So once this is done, or I guess it don't matter which way I go, but I'm gonna have to mask these off and paint these black. I might be able to hit it with a Sharpie, but like I mentioned before, sometimes a Sharpie isn't the best thing, because I think at times it looks like there's a slight purple hue to it. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, so we'll leave it with that. Okay guys, we have this all taped up. It was an epic session. I'm talking probably a good couple hours, but I think we're looking pretty good here. So we got the back all done. I'm going to do inside here, and I cut that out just enough so you can see through the grill, and I think we should be good. So we got the cab done, the box is done, rail tops, and then those little steps down below. So those look pretty good. And we got the window done. So the back, 2 pieces across the back glass. And we have the rear bumper done. And then of course we got the tailgate. Just top the tailgate. Up top there. And the bottom valance. So yeah, that's quite an ordeal. That was a lot of taping, not gonna lie. So we're gonna paint this with the Mr. Hobby Surfacer 1500 black primer, and we're gonna get her mixed up and we'll see how she shoots out. Well guys, we'll see how we did. So while I had the window taped up, I went ahead and used the Tamiya clear, and I give it a tinted window to the back. So we'll get this peeled off, we'll see how this turned out. So like I said, I didn't want it like, oh my gosh, super dark, but I wanted it to show enough to where I had like a tinted window on the back. So it turned out pretty cool. So we have the primer on the center, and then this is all sides clear, so I just hit the Tamiya clear on the inside. The smoke, I should say. It's not Tamiya clear. That wouldn't make any sense. So I'm going to let this sit a little bit, and I'll take the rest of it off in a moment. So the box side, we'll see how this turned out. Like I said, a lot of taping. I mean, you know, and the thing is, guys, you guys want a good, you know, it's only going to turn out as good as you tape it. That's the thing. You know, you can just rush along and yeah, it's good enough, but if you don't do a nice tape job, then that's just how it goes. That looks pretty good. Cool. Oh, nice. Looks good. Looks pretty cool. I think this should be pretty good. Not bad. Now for the cab. Okay, there we have it. It's not too bad. I got a little bit of cleaning up to do around there. Well, we'll work on that. But I'm disappointed with that back window. I thought that would have come out a little nicer than that. That's what it is. We'll get her cleaned up. I gotta finish and taping this window. See how that tint turned out. Looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty sharp. Alright, we'll get this cleaned up and start getting some assembly done. So I did the inside of the grill for this here, or inside of here. So when I put this in there, you see the black. So that's the reason for that. That turned out pretty sharp. Alright guys, we're working on the taillights. So what I did is I took a piece of bare metal foil and put it across here. Because this is our taillight started out life like this. So then I took just the pen, the Sharpie, just went around the outside of it like I usually do. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to put a piece of tape across here in the center. And I'm going to paint that with the Tamiya. And we're going to do the top part a little bit of white because that's a backup light. Next we're just going to take some tape and we're going to go down the center. And the bottom we're going to paint that with the Tamiya clear orange. That is Tamiya LP53. So what we're going to do is, once I put this on, I'm going to have to take the tape off immediately. Because you guys know this stuff dries like jello almost. So I have to, once it's on there, just rip it off quick. That way it doesn't pull off later on. So that's my plan anyway. So hopefully that works. I'll give it a try and let's see how she looks. Alright, so far so good. Just give it a real quick brush and then pull the tape off right away. And it left me with a nice clean line. So we're going to let that dry, and we're going to go back and do a little bit of white paint on the bare metal foil. Just kind of simulate the backup light. Alright guys, so there we have it. There's our final on the 93 Ranger. Say it didn't turn out too bad. We'll give her a little spin on the old carousel here. So like I say, I finally get my rear window to where I'm okay with it. I'm not still 100% with it, but it is good enough. Yeah, I'm done fighting with it, I guess. See, all in all, I think it's turned out pretty decent. Finally get those tires white lettered. Get everything set in there in the grill. So on the front of this, once I got it somewhat assembled, that front actually sat a little too high. I mean, there's some serious gap in that wheel well. So what I ended up doing is cutting the pins and repositioning the wheels a little further up off the spindle, basically. Just give it the more of a preferred stance, I guess, if you want to go that route. Just because it just, I mean, it looked like you had a lift in the front, and the back was like you had a load of lumber in the back or something. I mean, it was squatting down pretty good. So I thought, well, we need to fix that. So to me, this looks more natural, so more the right way. So yeah, all in all, it's a pretty fun build. Really enjoyed it. So like I said, the interior turned out pretty sharp. And we have our tailgate opens up. So that's basically a friction fit. So it works out pretty good. And I'll show you underneath the hood real quick. So nothing too magical under the hood. Like I say, I basically kept this a stock, box stock build. Nothing added on. And take a quick look underneath here. So like I say, just like you've seen earlier, just nothing else added to it. Everything fit pretty decent on it. And yes, I know it's supposed to have a plastic gas tank, but I wanted mine steel. I just like the looks of it. I think it looks nicer. Just give it a little more color underneath there. So my body panel for the back, they could be these little filler panels off to the side. And this one here decided to go flying when I went to put it on. And I tell you what, I must look 2 hours in my room trying to find that thing. I come real close just to getting out the styrene and just making myself one for it and calling it good. But we ended up finding it, so all was good, and it worked out pretty good. So yes sir, so there we have it guys. That is the build on the 93 Ranger, little Ranger Splash. And like I say, I'm pretty happy with it. Turned out pretty good. So once again, I appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out the channel, and following along on this build. And we will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a good one, and thanks for watching.